Hello, English 46A students. Okay, this one's going to be a quick one. So, the last set of lectures, the last set of videos was that four-part, 70-minute lecture. I recommend that you take it in parts, stop and start as you will. I'm expecting that now I can actually type things and you'll hear my voice for better or for worse. Okay, I want to do a very quick video. Let's see if I can do it. Setting up Dr. Faustus. Okay, so Marlowe's Dr. Faustus is a play. It was, came on the theater. In many ways, I think you'll notice, I hope, interesting things. Having read Everyman, with Dr. Faustus, we're more in the range of, say, the Shakespearean plays you may be familiar with. And okay, I just want to do a sort of 1, 2, 3, 3 steps in. Okay, about the very beginning of this play. Of course, I recommend all of the materials from the Norton. The intro that starts on page 679, so I'm not going to talk about that. What I want to do here is just, again, hit some quick notes. We have a list of characters. And one thing you'll notice in this play is that we're going to meet characters. We're only going to see them one time. We may not see them again. And this often brings up questions because this is not necessarily how you were trained to think about theater or about reading experiences. I mean, if you're going to, bring a character on, why aren't we paying attention to this character? Everyman you saw, we had characters come and go with very few constants moving forward. Okay, so the key thing here is to turn this into an observation. We are practicing our analytical skills. And the key to analytical skills is observing, right? That is paying attention to what we get, but also paying attention to what we don't get. Now, expectation is informed by your experience. If you have read 5 plays from this period, you have a lot of experience to build on. If you've read 10 plays or more, you have more experience to build on. Here, I'd say pay attention to that. It actually really helps in this play if you notice what we get and what we don't get. Okay. For example, we have the 2 characters who come in Act 1, Cornelius and Valdez. And these are 2 characters who are fellow would-be magicians, fellow students of the higher arts, fellow doctors, and they show up to deliver some materials that they have, and then we don't see them again. We don't see them again because Dr. Faustus doesn't need them again, and he apparently needs them here. They have some information, they have some materials that he seems to need to make the next step. He gives them, he offers his thanks to them, and then he takes it away. So we are definitely in the realm of character through speech, character through voice. To me, it's a parallel to what we've been seeing in all the short poems in that regard. And so, instead of, and I mean, it's a good question to ask, like, well, why don't we see them again? Which is to look at the play, look at the character, and answer it, which is, well, we don't need them in the play because Dr. Faustus doesn't need them anymore. Okay? Okay. That's one main point. Noticing what we get and what we don't get. Subpoint of that. Notice what Dr. Faustus wants to do when he gets power through his connections with the spirits and with the devil. And Mephistopheles is the agent of the devil. Notice what, Faustus talks quite grandly in this opening scene about what he could do with knowledge and power. But as you read the play, notice what he does do. Notice what he spends his time doing. But also notice what he doesn't do. I mean, he set up a certain expectation with the early speeches in Act 1. How much does he follow through on? What doesn't he do? How is he distracted, if that's what's the case may be? Or are we seeing his essential character coming through in terms of the way he gets to feed his desires? All right. Couple more quick points, because that was one large point, I think. When you start the play, you will notice we get this chorus that gives a prologue. There's a note. It's one character who stands out. This is a sort of a holdover or a carrying forward of the ancient Greek chorus, which was made up of a large number of people. Here we have one character that is basically summing up the play. In a way, it's very much like a trailer for a film nowadays, where you know, come on, you watch the trailer and you think, I know everything already. Okay, in a certain sense, by the time we get to line 28 of this opening speech, we know everything. We know Faustus is going to lose his soul. We know that the chorus, at least, which is meant to be a guiding voice here, thinks he's full of hubris, of arrogance. He's lost his touch with humanity, and he's going too far. That's the official word. Okay. Now, one of the great things about the Elizabethan theater, the Tudor-Stuart theater, as it's called after the rulers, is the way in which you can have an official line, and then you can have how things feel. Okay, so I'm kind of curious, as you're actually reading this play, are you drawn to the ambitions and the grandeur of Faustus? I certainly am, as the play starts. And then I get somewhat disappointed, and I also get distracted as the 7 deadly sins come out. And the devil. I mean, it's kind of exciting of the devil. Okay. So the chorus comes out, and he has a role, and you can figure out the role by thinking about what's the subject matter, what is the tone, and what is the sort of ethical stance that we get in those first 28 lines of the play. Okay. Next, we get a soliloquy. A soliloquy, S-O-L-I-Q-U-Y, is a private speech. It is a speech that the main character voices for us, the audience. Okay. It's a dramatic presentation. If we want to know what people are thinking, somebody has to say it out loud. You could imagine this as voiceover in a film, in films today. But Faustus is talking essentially to himself, and he's given a review of his education and his potential walks of life. You might remember the Gascoigne poem, Woodsmanship. This is sort of Faustus's woodsmanship as he goes through and he ticks off the things that he was interested in, but they just lack. They're not appropriate enough. They're not grand enough for a man like him. Okay? Philosophy, medicine, the law, divinity, but no. And he brings them up and he waves goodbye. Sort of like that lullaby poem by Gascoigne also. And he seizes upon magic and the idea of power. And this is lines 50 and following. Okay, again, I'm not trying to proselytize, but this is a Christian, this is a Christian culture. And if you have a character that's working with the devil, that's a problem. And yet, you know, I do think there's an attractive quality to Dr. Faustus's ambitions that we may actually relate to, and that many in the audience of Marlowe's time would have also related. Okay, good angel and evil angel. Okay, so you might think of a character on this shoulder and a character on this shoulder. That's what I saw. Usually it was an angel and a devil in the cartoons I watched as a child. Here it's good angel and evil angel. And you might think, evil angel? Well, all of the devils were once angels. They are fallen. That's where they came from. They rebelled against God, and they were sent down to the at that time, newly created hell, the inferno, for them to live. They were cast out of heaven by God. And so that's why evil angel means devil for us. But I just find it interesting. So you have that. Cornelius and Valdez come in. They deliver some helpful materials. And then Faustus gets rid of them. And there we are to scene 2. And we move outside where we have 2 different scholars commenting on what Faustus is doing. And what a great student, what a great professor he is. And then we get introduced to the character of Wagner, or I tend to call him Wagner, but it's Wagner. Okay, this is the servant of Faustus, and this brings up to my last point, which is this play has a fair amount of comic relief. And again, we're here practicing our analytical skills. What do we get? This is a tragedy of Dr. Faustus. But we also have scenes, sort of low rent comedy scenes with Wagner imitating his master, Faustus. We also have a clown is going to come in. And then, as a strong hint, Dr. Faustus's own behavior starts becoming rather clownish. Okay, it lacks the gravitas that you might expect from the great doctor and from tragedy. And I think this is meant to be a moral and ethical comment on what we're getting. Okay, that wasn't as fast as I expected, but it's pretty fast. Okay, see you in writing next.